In this example, we're going to cover the getting started process for MetaLocator. In order to get started, the first thing to do is to create an account. So you can go to MetaLocator.com and click on the free 30-day trial button. Enter in your name, enter in your email address, and choose a password. That'll create a MetaLocator account for you. Once that's completed, go ahead and log in using the email address and password that you chose. The first thing to do when a MetaLocator account has been created is to add some data to it. And that's what the wizard prompts you to do. So simply click Continue on the Let's Add Some Data prompt. Next, based on the type of data you'll be importing, make the appropriate choice. In this example, we're going to be importing store location data, and so I'll be choosing locations. You can also import persons, events, or pretty much anything else that can be added in a spreadsheet. I'll click Locations, and then it'll ask me where that data is coming from. That data can come from a spreadsheet, or you can add locations one by one. You can even pull data from Salesforce, or if you're not sure yet, you can simply choose some sample data that we have. In this video, we're going to be importing data from a spreadsheet. Let's take a look at what that sample spreadsheet looks like. In this example, we have a handful of locations, each with a name, a description, address, city, state, and so forth in these various columns. It's important that your address data be broken out in this way. The only required field in MetaLocator is the name column. However, for location data, you'll want to ensure that your address is entered in separate columns in the form of address, city, state, and postal code. The more data that you have, the better. You can even include custom fields, like favorite color. And so forth. And we'll save this spreadsheet. In this case, we're going to save the spreadsheet as a CSV, or comma separated values. That's a good format to ensure that no formatting or images or links will get in the way of importing data. I'll choose the file that we were just looking at for my desktop and click Open. MetaLocator will look through the spreadsheet provided and try to determine all the columns and see if it can match any of those to MetaLocator system columns. These green columns indicate successful matches. However, it did encounter a column that it did not recognize, which is okay. And notice it's indicated as red, and the action selected is that it's going to create it as a custom field. And so the rest of these columns will all be imported into the MetaLocator system columns. Make any adjustments or choices that you have to that mapping and then click Continue. Then your data will import. Once the data is imported, any locations that it finds that don't have latitude longitude will need to be geocoded. So let's click Continue. Geocoding is the process of assigning a latitude and longitude to each one of your locations based on the address data that you have. The latitude-longitude accuracy corresponds directly to the accuracy and consistency of the address data provided. So make sure that your address data is as correct as possible before performing the geocoding process. Once geocoding is complete, MetaLocator will let you know, and you'll continue on in the process. The next step is to create an interface. The interface is what will ultimately be deployed on your website. So I'll click Continue, and I can choose an interface template from one of the predefined templates, or I can use the default settings. In this case, I'm going to choose the sleek design template, which has a nice clean layout and includes a directory and map with a postal code search that also includes some categories. A good strategy is to pick the one that most correctly matches the type of interface that you're trying to create and then modify from there. MetaLocator has over 300 settings. We're not going to explore each one in this video. In fact, we're not going to make any modifications to these settings. Let's just look at what MetaLocator created for us by clicking the Preview button. So if I click Preview, I can see that I have a completely functional store locator solution that's ready for deployment on my website. If I want to make any modifications to that, I can explore some of these settings. While you're familiarizing yourself with these settings, feel free to reach out to the help desk at any time by clicking support in the lower right. We won't make any modifications to this. I'll just click Save and Close. Now that I've got my data imported and my interface created, the next step is to install this on my website. In this demonstration video, we're going to install our interface on this empty locator page. And this is on an external website. Your process is going to vary, of course, but the process of installing and obtaining the interface code is the same for everyone. So the next step is to install my interface. So I'll click Install and follow the instructions. It'll first ask me to choose a hostname for my interface. This is important because a hostname will allow Google and other search engines to find my location data on my website. Without a hostname, Google will never be able to see the location content that you're importing into MetaLocator. Choose a hostname. It can be your business name or a derivation thereof, and make sure that someone else hasn't chosen it yet. In this case, my hostname is available, so I'll click Save and Continue. The next thing is MetaLocator will provide for me the code that I need to copy and paste on my website. So I'll copy that content to the clipboard and click Continue. Now that I have my interface installation code, the next thing I'll do is go over to my website management tool and I'll edit this page. Of course, your process is going to look different than mine because your website probably has a different management utility. In this management utility, I'm going to edit the locator example page that we are looking at. I'll copy and paste the code that was provided. A lot of website editors have both a code view and a text view. Make sure you're in the code view when you're pasting the content provided by MetaLocator. Now that we're done pasting that, we'll hit Save and Close. You only have to copy the interface installation code once. You can then forever manage the settings and content from MetaLocator's dashboard. This is the page before we added code. Let's reload the page and see what it looks like now. Notice now we have a nice integrated store locator solution that's live and available on our website. This is great. So the next thing that we're going to do is continue the wizard. Notice the wizard is asking us to install it on our website. And so we've done that. And now we'll click Check Now in order for MetaLocator to determine where it was installed. It says, excellent, you did it. We've deployed our interface. So the next thing we can do is configure the free SEO landing pages that are included with every MetaLocator account. So I just click Next. This next step is important to ensure that search engines like Google, Bing, and Yahoo can pull down your locator content. So the first thing we want to make sure is that locator content looks just like the rest of our web page. So we'll click Pull Template, and what that will do is it will extract the template content in our website above and below the interface. It will use that as the header and footer for our location landing pages. That completes almost immediately. The next thing we'll do is then click Generate to create a landing page for each location we've imported in the database. I'll click Generate. The system will report that it's running as it's generating each individual landing page, and then it will report that it's complete. Once complete, we can reload the page and we see a preview button. Clicking Preview, we can see that we get a location list for each location that we've imported into the database. I can click on each heading to get a full detail page that matches the look and feel of my website. Of course, I can go in and tweak some of these options within the interface settings. And that completes the Getting Started process for MetaLocator. Of course, if you have any questions throughout the process, feel free to reach out to the help desk by clicking the blue support button. And thanks for evaluating our software.